Through the eyes of Jehovah, humility is a precious quality that draws his favor and blessings. Have you seen how Ahab humbled himself on my account? Jehovah observes the heart and lifts up the lowly, granting them honor and life. In this video, discover what it truly means to be humble in the sight of the Almighty and how embracing humility opens the door to wisdom, glory, and his undeserved kindness. Have you seen how Ahab has humbled himself on my account? Because he has humbled himself before me, I will not bring the calamity during his lifetime. 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 29. He raises the lowly from the dust. He lifts up the poor from the ash heap to make them sit with princes, giving them a seat of honor. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 8. Because your heart was responsive and you humbled yourself before Jehovah in hearing what I have spoken against this place and its inhabitants, I also have heard you, declares Jehovah. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 19. He stoops down to look on heaven and earth, raising the lowly from the dust. He lifts up the poor from the ash heap in order to make him sit with nobles, with the nobles of his people. Psalm chapter 113, verses 6 through 8. Though Jehovah is high, he takes note of the humble, but the haughty he knows only from a distance. Psalm chapter 138, verse 6. For he mocks those who ridicule, but he shows favor to the meek. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 34. The fear of Jehovah means the hating of bad. I hate self-exaltation and pride and the evil way and perverse speech. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. When presumptuousness comes, dishonor will follow, but wisdom is with the modest ones. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 2. The fear of Jehovah is a training in wisdom, and before glory there is humility. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 33. Pride is before a crash and a haughty spirit before stumbling. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. Before a crash, a man's heart is lofty, and before glory there is humility. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 12. The result of humility and the fear of Jehovah is riches and glory and life. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 4. The haughtiness of a man will humble him, but whoever is humble in spirit will obtain glory. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 23. The haughty eyes of man will be brought low, and the arrogance of man will bow down. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 11. For it is the day belonging to Jehovah of armies. It is coming upon everyone who is haughty and lofty, upon everyone whether exalted or lowly. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 12. For this is what the high and lofty one says, who lives forever and whose name is holy. I reside in the high and holy place, but also with those crushed and lowly in spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of those being crushed. Isaiah chapter 57, verse 15. My own hand has made all these things, and this is how they all came to be, declares Jehovah. To this one then I will look, to the humble and broken in spirit who trembles at my word. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 2. He has told you, O man, what is good. And what is Jehovah requiring of you? Only to exercise justice, to cherish loyalty, and to walk in modesty with your God. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. Therefore, whoever will humble himself like this young child is the one who is the greatest in the kingdom of the heavens. Matthew chapter 18, verse 4. This must not be the way among you, but whoever wants to become great among you must be your minister, and whoever wants to be first among you must be your slave. Matthew chapter 20, verses 26 and 27. But the greatest among you must be your minister. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Matthew chapter 23, verses 11 and 12. So he sat down and called the 12 and said to them, if anyone wants to be first, he must be last of all and minister of all. Mark chapter 9, verse 35. This must not be the way among you, but whoever wants to become great among you must be your minister. Mark chapter 10, verse 43. For the one who conducts himself as a lesser one among all of you is the one who is great. Luke chapter 9, verse 48. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Luke chapter 14, verse 11. Because everyone who exalts himself will be humiliated, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Luke chapter 18, verse 14. You, though, are not to be that way, but let the one who is the greatest among you become as the youngest, and the one taking the lead as the one ministering. Luke chapter 22, verse 26. Let us not become egotistical, stirring up competition with one another, envying one another. Galatians chapter 5, verse 26. Be in subjection to one another in fear of the Christ. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. Do nothing out of contentiousness or out of egotism, but with humility consider others superior to you. Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. More than that, when he came as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death. Yes, death on a torture stake. Philippians chapter 2, verse 8. God opposes the haughty ones, but he gives undeserved kindness to the humble ones. James chapter 4, verse 6. Humble yourselves in the eyes of Jehovah, and he will exalt you. James chapter 4, verse 10. In the same way, you younger men, be in subjection to the older men. But all of you clothe yourselves with humility towards one another, because God opposes the haughty ones, but he gives undeserved kindness to the humble ones. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. I, Jehovah, have shown you the beauty and power of humility. Those who humble themselves before me will find favor, glory, and life. I dwell with the lowly and revive the broken in spirit, for true greatness lies in serving others with a meek and modest heart. Exaltation comes not from pride, but from submission to my will. Walk humbly with me, cherish loyalty, and exercise justice, for I oppose the haughty, but give undeserved kindness to the humble. Let your heart remain lowly, and in due time I will lift you up.